The first trip that I took to the Philippines, I proposed to Joy. And we had only been talking for 4 months. I was sure that I was in love with her and wanted to be with her. And so I initiated the K-1 visa process at that time. We filled out some paperwork on that first trip. The last day we were together, we went down to Filipino Visa, which is a service that I paid for. And I prepaid for this service to where they would help us fill out all the paperwork and go through the visa process. And we specifically wanted to do the K-1 visa so that she could come here. At the time, that was the fastest way that we were recommended to do it, faster than getting married there and then trying to get paperwork for her to come here. The reason being is because I have 2 kids here still. They're still under 18 years old, and I have them 50% of the time. And so until they're adults, I need to be in America more. Ideally, we would like to be able to move back and forth, go back and forth, and then eventually move there in about 5 years is kind of what we're looking at. But until then, we had discussed Joy moving here to America for the most of the time. We haven't discussed her being a citizen yet. I think that's something we're going to try to do, is get citizenship for her, at least dual citizenship. But this video will be about the K-1 visa process and what we learned from it and our experiences with it. So we actually went down and knocked on the door to the Filipino visa offices, and I don't think they usually get people doing that, but we wanted to meet them, and I wanted to actually talk to somebody that we were going to be working with. And they helped us by taking my pictures and so they could submit pictures and stuff in person, and they helped us fill out paperwork a little bit. How they do it is they give you a questionnaire that you fill out, and then they fill out the actual government forms. And so I had a bunch of paperwork I had to fill out. Joy had a bunch of paperwork she had to fill out, and then they helped us put it all into the government forms accurately. And they could tell if there was any red flags. And there was a lot of questions we had that I wouldn't have known how to answer, and Joy wouldn't have known either. That's the reason I did it. And I'm not an expert on legalese and court papers and government papers and all that stuff. And so this is something I would really prefer to hand over to someone else who's done it many times, instead of me just risking it. Because, and this is what I've been told, if we mess up and she gets denied, then she's denied for life, from what I understand.
Yeah, I think that's what I understand too.
So we just didn't want to risk that. I didn't want to risk that. It was a little bit more money than just doing it ourselves. But the end result, I'm really happy we did it. I think one of the best things about it was it made it comfortable for Joy, because she had someone to talk to and help her through everything while I wasn't there, especially for the interview and all that stuff. So anyway, we highly recommend using a service. I don't know who you want to use, but we use Filipino Visa. We do have a link in the description if you want to use their service, and we'll get a commission from it. But we highly recommend it, especially if you're not very good with this kind of paperwork. So that first trip, we started the process. How long did it take us to actually submit the first paperwork? It was like 2 months, right?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like 2 months.
So it was about 2 month process with Filipino Visa, getting everything just right, getting all our paperwork together. They told us what kind of stuff to collect, like
early relationship,
proof of relationship type stuff, our first conversations by text, our first conversations on dating apps, by Skype, by Messenger. We collected all that, and then all of our photographs together. That's one thing that we had to do in order to start this process, was prove that I had been there, that I'd met her family, have photographs of all that stuff.
Yes.
And so that had already happened, and so we had already been able to check those things off. So we collected all that stuff. It took about 2 months to gather it all and put it together and fill out all the forms and get everything dotted and crossed all of our T's. And we submitted it, and it took about 2 weeks before the U.S. government sent me a letter saying that they received our request.
Okay, they said it took like 9 months to 15 months to approve,
to get the approval from the government.
To get the approval with the government.
So we're just waiting, Every month they would send us another email. Hey, hopefully everything's going good. This is Filipino Visa. If you have any questions, and like we just had to wait, long waiting game. But what was good is how long did it take it to finally get approved?
Yeah, we got approved like 7 months.
7 months.
When we finally received the NVC letter.
Yeah. And we got that when I was on my third trip to the Philippines. We got a message from the lady, from our contact, saying, "Hey, I just found out you got approved." And I contacted my dad to see if he could check my mail if there was a letter, and he ended up sending a picture of the letter saying we got approved, because I just didn't believe it because it was early. And then we had to wait for the letter to be sent to the Manila office.
So it's like 2 months. It's like 1 month.
And that was about a month or 5 weeks.
Yeah, it's like a month
for that letter.
When we got that, you came back here.
I got back to America.
So yeah, when we got the last letter, then that's how we started gathering all our paperwork and everything.
And then it was a matter of gathering more communication proof, more photographs, proof that we're still communicating.
The latest conversation, the latest photos, the latest video call, screenshot.
And then they needed financial proof, so I had to put together documentation of how much income I have and how I'll be able to support her. So I put together that. There was also a bunch more paperwork for her to fill out now, because now that it was approved on the American side, it had to be approved over on the Philippine side. And so the agency then, Filipino Visa, was setting up a medical appointment for Joy. They were setting up an interview time, and it all had to be timed just right. Certain paperwork was sent to here, and you had to copy this number onto this other form and submit it. And in the Philippines, they're very nitpicky with how the paperwork is done. It seems like it's kind of chaotic, but it's a very specific way that they want it. And if you don't do it right, you got to go to some other office and you got to start over, or you got to do this or that. That's my experience with it. So she was over there in Manila at the time, or close to Manila, communicating with Catherine, our main contact, who was setting up all these different appointments and medical things. And that was a really stressful time for you.
Catherine is our coordinator, and she helped a lot.
If you guys use Filipino Visa, request Catherine and say it's because you heard about it from Province Smile, from Joy and Jason. She'll know us.
She knows, because I told her that we can recommend her with other people too. But she helped me a lot. Not just like on my paperwork, and all my questions she asked.
And Joy would call her, and they would spend an hour on the phone just talking about stuff, and she would help Joy to like relieve the stress. I can see how important it was now, I mean, after she went to the embassy interviews, because there was so many women there, according to her, that had all kinds of different ideas about what they needed to do. No one knew what the process was, and no one knew the questions or what to bring. Some lady brought a giant photograph framed of her husband, like all these weird different things that they thought they needed, but it wasn't important. And Catherine was able to just cut through all that junk. She gave us a list of questions to expect, and so we were able to practice those. They did mock interviews with Joy the day before.
It's very helpful, because she helped printed everything, and like step by step, my birth certificate, Cinemar, and the most important things like birth certificate, Cinemar, NBI.
And these are all things that in America you're like, what? I mean, birth certificate, but Cinemar is like proof that you have that you're not married. The NBI is proof that you're not like a felon, or that you've worked.
You didn't do any crime.
You didn't do any crime. And you have to get these really close to the time that they are needed, so there was a lot of little hoops you had to jump through to get these things.
It's so hard to get NBI, and that like I have to get up like 4:00 in the morning and fill online and the NBI outlet, but then it's worth it.
And you happen to know, like one of your neighbors was like, oh no, I know exactly where to go and who to talk to get it faster. And so because you had a contact, you were able to get things faster than what you thought.
I'm lucky, because I am new with the place that we're staying, so I don't really know where's the office and everything. And you have to I have to book appointment for NBI, and you have to. There's like certain people that you need from the barangay. So there's a lady in our neighborhood. She helped me to process to get my birth certificate, no, my Cinemar and my NVI. She woke up early for me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the birth certificate was a problem too. You had to get one again, right?
Because I have like I have like NSO birth certificate, so that's not what they want. They want the new birth certificate. It's called PSA.
PSA.
So you have to make sure that you have the PSA birth certificate and PSA Cinemar. Yeah, I think Miss Catherine, she's helped me so much with a lot of the questioning. I can talk to her, ask, what should I do with this?
And there's a lot of questions that we had answers for that you practice, and then at the mock interview, the lady was like, "No, don't answer it like that, because that will make them think that this. Instead, answer like this."
And on my mock interview, they give me 70 questionnaire, but not all of those questions they will ask. There's just like a possibility that the console will ask you.
Yeah.
But not all of that. But we do practice all of that on my mock interview that day.
Yeah.
And they teach me how to answer very well or correctly, so the console would think on that way.
Like body language, and to make sure to
Eye to eye contact.
do this and don't act this way. They said don't wear makeup, even though you went in there and everyone was wearing, you had makeup gobbed on, and you were like laughing about that.
They said that if you're more simple, then you will kind of attract the console.
Because it doesn't look fake, I think. Right?
That's natural. But it's so funny because when I got at embassy, I was kind of like, I only have like lip shiner on, and everyone was like full pack of makeup, red lips. Yeah. So what we do is when we got our NVC letter, the last letter that we got, we go to the bank and pay for embassy appointment, and then after that, when we had the embassy appointment, we scheduled for a medical appointment, because you have to get an embassy appointment first before you do the medical appointment. Then, my Miss Catherine, my coordinator, she the one booked for my appointment in embassy, and she also the one booked for my medical appointment.
They booked a hotel for you. Yeah. They picked you up and brought you to the place.
Yeah, they had a 2 nights hotel. It's up to if you're gonna use all of that. But do I use mine?
Yeah, we used it, and then we had to get more hotel stay because we needed more time in Manila.
Yeah, they had 2 night hotel free for you, and they had car to pick you up from the hotel, go to your medical, and pick you up from the hospital, and bring back to your hotel. And the next, because it's 2 days, 2 days medical. So if you pass the first day, then the second day you will get immunization. They call it immunization, but no one knows if you pass or not. Yeah. They don't tell you the result the first day.
And they seal it up in an envelope, and you're supposed to take that to the actual embassy. And so you don't really know your results until the person at the embassy is opening it up in front of you, which seems to just cause more stress than it needs to cause for these poor ladies.
It's so stressful. Oh my goodness. I remember I was in the I got there in the medical in St. Luke, the medical hospital, and I kept praying like hope everything will be fine. And I'm kind of like shaking and hungry and
you had a headache. So in the medical part, the second day was testing your mental cognitive.
The first day in the medical is you have to do the first interview, like they're asking your name and everything.
Eye test.
They
check your whole body, and they see if you have scars, and
they do the X-ray. They do the body examination, like You have to take off your shirt and your pants. They have to look your arm if you have scar and whatever. If they saw some scar, they will ask you anything. And they will ask you about if you have a chicken pox before, if you have a scar on that, then you tell them which part of your body. Yeah, it's kind of like scary because it's first time in my life that I undergo for a medical and everything. And then eye test, like they have like a big letters and small letter that you have to read. And then the height and a weight. Then after that, they won't tell you the result, what's going on the first day. So they just gonna like tell you, you're done for today and you have to come back tomorrow. And it's so stressful because I know some people that are like, did you pass? And I don't know, they just say come back tomorrow and they give this paper. They said they had a choke color, like they will give you white or yellow if you're sputum. I mean, if you're sputum, you have to undergo again, like 2 months.
Yeah, you have to wait.
You have to wait the
wait a long
result,
time and go get more tests.
Yeah.
So it delays everything if you have
Yeah.
sputum.
So you have to come back like 3 days to undergo with the sputum. So I don't want that because I hear a lot of people like that's the hardest part of when you get sputum, and the result takes 2 months to came. I was scared because before my medical, I had body issues. I got fever.
That's right. You had a fever when you were going through that.
Yes, right. Like a certain time, like I got fever back and forth, and my stress level is so high. I feel like I'm dying. My body is gonna like going down. I'm so skinny. My coordinator, Miss Catherine, she told me that I had to take vitamins and make sure that my body is healthy when the medical came. So I follow all those orders from her.
And so you passed,
Then,
basically. You didn't have to go back for the sputum.
Then, yeah, the next day when I came back there,
Oh, yeah.
the next
Day
day when
two.
I come back there, the day two, I had no idea. But, like we had our name, we're waiting in the area, and then they call our name. And then that's the immunization day. So it's mean I pass. They will ask you a question if you have allergy, and they will ask you a lot of question about the vaccination and COVID and everything if you have card. All of that. They had to make sure that you tell everything to them because they're gonna be giving you an injection, like 3 or 4. I have 3 injection. And it's painful.
And so even though they didn't tell her that she passed, because she got the vaccinations, it meant she passed because they wouldn't give her vaccinations unless she was traveling out of the country.
Yeah. So if you got sputum, they won't give you. You have to undergo for another 3 days for the sputum and wait in 2 months, because I think they had to make sure that your test is clear. Then you have to do it again if it's not clear, and do it again if it's not clear. Do it again. So there's some people like crying about it, like it's kind of hard to get sputum. You have to go to the hospital early in the morning. But I'm so lucky to have her helping me out with everything. I think that's the good thing when you have a agency or someone trying to help you with everything.
Yeah. And not to, say I did anything better than anyone else, but most of the women that she was talking to really felt like the men just like said, "Oh, you can do it," and they just would push the women to do everything on their own.
Yeah.
And the guys in America working, so obviously they're busy too, but it would just stress out these women, and they wouldn't have the money to do it. The guys wouldn't help them. The guys wouldn't help them with the paperwork. Oh, you can figure it out. And so I can see how that would stress a Filipina girl out, especially if they're from the province. They're not used to any of these paperwork, all this paperwork and stuff, getting passports, all this stuff. it's a real complicated nightmare over there to like do it for the first time, even if you know how to do it. And so many of the women that Joy came in contact with, they
Yeah,
just felt kind of abandoned by their man,
yeah, I
you
know.
know, because of that. So I think that's one of the positives to having to paying someone to help the girl
Yeah, I mean,
if you can't be there.
yeah, we know some people like like the men just pay for the process and don't give any place to stay.
Yeah, they yeah. You'll figure it out. You could go find a hotel somewhere, and the girl's like, I don't have any money. How am I going to get there? You know,
So we heard a different story of them.
how do I print things out? You know, like they don't have they have a phone. Like, what are they going to do? Print it out from their phone? You know, you got to go to a special place to print it out. You got to put it together, right? They've never done documents like that.
Yeah. And then, and starting with the process, I think the cooperation of your partner, it's very needed. Like you have to understand and you have to be there for your partner starting on the process. Yes, you're the one paying for it because we can't afford to pay. Usually we're just simple people in Philippines, and we both know that the amount of we need to pay for the embassy, it's a big amount, and the hospital for medical is a
Yeah,
big
all
amount.
those things cost
And
money.
but the most important is the support emotionally. Like you have to be there for your partner
Yeah.
and cheer her up. Like you can do it, you can do this. And I think that's the big support that I get to Jason. Like you can do it, you will be fine. I was here, I would help you. Which is he helped me a lot with my paperwork, and even he's here in the state, he still have time to do that. And I kind of review, and if I don't know some other thing, because there's so much question that's don't needed. But he helped me a lot with that. He support me through emotion. I had like my ups and down on starting on my processing because it's too much work.
Yeah. And even Catherine was saying like, wow, thanks for putting all this together, because I scanned everything and packaged it all nicely as much as I could so that she didn't have to do as much work. And she was really grateful for that because most of the guys don't do anything, and they expect them to do everything, and they're not able to do it as well as if the guy was to just put it all together. And then the guys complain to the agency, why aren't you doing this? And so basically we got kind of bumped to the front just because I was helping them do the paperwork. Like they kind of put us in line in front of other people as far as taking care of us first. And so I think it's partially just because I was helping do some of the paperwork.
Yeah, our coordinator, she's so happy of, because it's kind of like not just her doing all this thing, we're helping it together to gather everything, and Jason does the paperwork and everything. And I remember she told me like, you're so lucky because your partner is very supportive on you. Like when I need the paperwork, he does on time. Like here's the paperwork. Yes, like yes, we're paying them. We're paying them to help us to process, but we have also to be responsible for the paper that they need, because when they ask paperwork that they need, you have to provide that. They don't have that. And I think I heard a lot of people like swearing them, say bad words to them. Well, that's not right. I know that you guys are paying, but I think it's not good that you have to swear.
And people are just mad because they just want it to happen faster. But there's so many things that need to be checked off in order for each stage, that it's like there's no point in yelling at the agent about it. They're just doing it in the right order. Just to be clear, like I put together all the paperwork into digital folders and gave them a link. So Catherine ended up printing everything out, put it in the right order. It was a stack about an inch thick in a folder that she gave you of all your documents and then all the paperwork and all the financial stuff
Yeah.
and all the government forms in the right order. And just, it was just perfectly handled, I
Yeah,
think.
we're so happy for the service that she's giving to us. Like, it's in order. Like I got there, she booked me a mock interview that day, and that day she gave all my paperwork that I need. The next day for my embassy interview, like
And,
in a long, big,
yeah.
it's like a bundle envelope.
And
So heavy.
it might not be clear in America, but over there, when it's like a matter of, well, let's print out all this paperwork and put it together and bind it and put it in a envelope and make it nice for business purposes, it's difficult to figure out how to do that stuff because people don't have computers, they don't have printers. You got to go to a place to print it on the
Yeah,
right kind of
yeah.
paper. You have to, it all costs money. You got to travel fees. You got to find some folders to put it in. Everyone's just guessing how to assemble this stuff, and that's why all these women would came in with just random stuff because they don't know how to assemble it. And so having Catherine just go, here, I made this for you based on all your documents. It's ready to go in the right order with the right things. And nothing is in it that's, I mean, only things are in it that are needed. Anything that's not needed is just left out.
Yeah.
And that was that was great.
And what I did, I think it's I just like review everything. Like we just review all my our paperwork, and then make sure that everything is in there. It's true and correct. That's it. I think the only thing that I did is I had to make a photo picture for my
Oh yeah, you
passport.
had to go get a picture of yourself.
Yes, I did that. And but
Well, you did. There was a big list of things that you had to do. So don't say that was the only thing.
okay, fine.
You spent weeks like going here for your seminar, going there for this, going here for that, and it was all leading up to the medical. You were busy.
But yeah, but I don't that. But compare of what you did and what Miss Catherine did, and you guys did a lot of
Oh well, yeah,
things, and you're the one paying for it, and the Miss Catherine set up everything,
yeah,
and I'm just doing my personal thing,
yeah, yeah.
and then do my Mac interview.
One of the things that has stopped people from passing is depression. So, if there's depression in the girl's life, then that's going to be an issue for coming to America.
And I think you have to be honest what you're going through in the past, and you don't have to hide it because I'm sure they will check your background.
Yeah.
So they will ask you, have you been like, and my doctor asked me like if I went to psychiatrist and everything, a lot of things, that I commit suicide or whatever.
Well, obviously you didn't commit.
So all of that. The last question. Did I?
If you attempted.
Because they always had to make sure. I think they always had to make sure that you're gonna be okay if you're going to America. Because here you had nobody. Like you become lonely here. It's not like in the Philippines you can jump in your neighbor and talk.
Yeah.
Chit chat. But that's very different here.
That's different.
So
for sure. So after the medical, it was the interview was scheduled for about a week later, and it had to be timed just right. We had a hotel booked for you in Manila, right across the street from the embassy.
Yeah.
And you had to go over there at 9 o'clock, and you had to leave your phone and everything home.
Yeah, actually, Jason did is he booked me a hotel, and on my mock interview, usually I'm gonna stay there like on my final interview in embassy. But he's so excited about it, and he wants me to make comfortable. So he booked me a hotel there on my mock interview, and I stayed there. And then the next day, that's my interview, and it's very helpful to me.
Well, otherwise it would have taken hours for you to drive back and forth, and you probably might have been late, and because things are just run on their own time in the Philippines.
And I think everyone had a same experience, like so stressful. You can't get sleep, like,
Yeah.
wondering what is the question. And me, even I had a mock interview that, like they helped me how to answer question. You have to answer this way in a correct way, because if you answer it this way, they might doubt that you're gonna come in America for some reason. It's not for love or whatever, So, but there's so much thing on my mind. Like, what if they ask you that? What if ask me? What if they ask me on this? And I kept praying on that, like, oh my gosh, Lord, you have to help me with this, everything will be fine. So the day of my interview, I'm so nervous, and you can't bring your phone. The only thing that you have to bring is little amount of money so you can put in your packet, but no phone because they don't allow phone. So just your passport and the paperwork that you need when you get in there. And when you get inside, the first step is the Filipino consul. They will ask you question and ask thing. Actually, my Filipino consul is so nice and friendly.
Yeah, they gave you easy questions.
She didn't ask a lot of questions of me. Actually, she asked
It was like yes or no questions.
like, give me your passport. Then I gave it to her, and then who's the petitioner? And then before I answer, his name is is Jason. Says that yes. And then what is your address? And it's
No, didn't she say, does he live at this address? And you're like, yes.
yeah, it's like did this the address? I said yes.
Because she was been memorizing, and so she was prepared to answer all these questions of things that I barely even have memorized. And they were just like, is the address blah 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 blah? And she's like, yes.
Jason's parent, how many siblings he has, and his birthday, when he got divorced, when he got married, on his first marriage, how many kids do he have, the birthday, all of that I had to memorize, and the date, the address here.
Address and phone numbers.
So I practiced that on my mock interview, but in case they will ask questions.
Yeah.
So I am ready with the 70 question that they give it to me.
Yeah.
Which it's very helpful though. But still it's so it's very nervous to face with the console, because I heard a lot of things that some console they're very strict, which is it's true. You're lucky to be with a nice console, which is I am lucky to have Filipino console because she didn't give me a hard time.
And you were able to overhear some of the other interviews happening, and they were all arguing and stuff. And
yeah, but some Filipino, they're having hard time with their interviews. They ask so much question, and I feel like so lucky with that.
Yeah, you got an easy first interview. So then you went to the second lady, who was different.
Yeah, like just the first lady, just like then congratulations. Yeah, I said thank you so much. It blessed you. I kind of like be friendly, or maybe because I think the more simple you are, they're kind of like not derogating it too much. I don't know. But and then I went to the second. It's a biometric, and this makes me more nervous.
Biometrics.
Yeah,
like they look at your eyes or your fingerprints.
Fingerprints, and it makes me more nervous hearing her voice because it's so loud. Like, next please, get me your passport.
She was just loud, so it made you nervous.
So I have a panic attack when people like yelling or something. So I was kind of like, that's my main concern, that I able to talk to my coordinator about that thing, because I have panic attack. I don't like people when shouting. The third and final console, it's a foreign console. It's so intimidating and it's so scary to me. You have to pay attention when they call you, because when they call you and you didn't pay attention, they don't call you back. There's a lady that they call her name and she didn't hear it which window. I think I am in the window 33, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, there's that many? There's a lot of windows.
Yeah, there's a lot of windows. So, there's a window number. So I am in a window 33. And the console is so serious. My
Wait,
goodness.
what happens if you miss to the lady who missed hearing the window?
When they call next, I don't know what happened with her, but she's like, I hear they call my name, but
She didn't know where to go.
but I don't know if they will call it again, but still she wait. And I saw like people they get like interviews and interviews, and
she's still waiting.
She's still waiting there.
A lot of time has passed.
Yeah.
Poor girl.
So yeah.
Talk about the third guy who was intimidating.
So I went to they call my name, and it's hard for him to pronounce my name, but I have to keep my ears open. My last name is like it's supposed to pronounce like Tejo, and they hold Tejo. Tejo. So it's like, oh, I think that's my name. So yeah, that's it. And then I went there, and I'm shaking, my goodness. Looking his face, the way he look at you is so scary. He asked me like, so who's your petitioner? He asked me how many times he went to the Philippines, on how long we've been boyfriend and girlfriend. And I told him a year. And it's like, a year? So in the reaction, I was like, it's look like 50-50. He looked all the paperwork, and then he's asking about the divorce decree. He's not smiling. Oh my goodness. Like, not some of the console that they're so friendly and smiling. Mine is so scary. He's not even smiling. I kind of like smile at him, but he don't smile at me. He gave me 2 pamphlets. It's like, congratulations, and you passed your visa. And I said, thank you so much, sir. And he looked at me and was like, like, finally it's done and everything. Actually, it's not done yet, because I wait to get my visa, and I had to book a CFO.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I have to book my CFO, and there's another questioning happening.
That's right. It was like a half a day, all day class almost.
Like, it's 4 hour.
4 hour class.
4 hour
all
class.
Kinds of questions, and the personal interview, there was a lot more questions than at the interview.
Yeah, my goodness. Like, there's so much question. It's kind of like you have to convince them that they had to give you the CFO thing.
And you do, because if they don't give you that sticker in your passport, you can't travel. So it's kind of just as important.
That's the most important paperwork too. That you have to show that to the immigration.
Yeah. So that was another hotel we booked.
He booked me another hotel, and
and after that, it was only like 2 days after that you got the packet. Then.
Yeah, they told me. No, not 2 days. Right away in that day, I got I got my CFO that day.
Okay.
And then you booked me a ticket to go in.
Yeah.
The next flight.
For about a week later, the ticket.
Yeah, and
I told you it was summer.
He told me it's summer. And
then it's not.
Well, I have also like struggle on the airport. Oh my goodness.
That is the process. It took us
9 months.
9 months total
to come here.
From filing the paperwork to her being here in America. Now we're waiting for the green card, and actually Catherine's helping her with that as well. We just filed a whole pile of new set of papers, which I would have been completely confused about. Joy too. We're now just waiting for that process. So that's a whole nother story, but it's part of the package.
Yeah, we can recommend Miss Catherine because she's very good and friendly with us.
Yeah.
I can open with her, like I can talk everything I want to talk to her.
So if you guys are interested in using Filipino visa, it's highly recommended by us. I would hands down say use it instead of trying to do it yourself, unless this is the kind of stuff you do naturally yourself and you're confident in it. But for the emotional support of the girl, it's amazing. It's helpful.
Yeah.
And ask for Catherine. Use our affiliate link and we can get a little commission as well, and that would support our channel. And thanks for watching, guys.